So this is a little window into how we do things here. You know, what I'm reading right now, this intro, was actually written by one of my producers, and I actually ask multiple people what their take is on the Epstein release, what matters, what doesn't matter. Why? Because perception is reality on this, okay? It really is what you want it to be. They've released nearly 30,000 pages. Okay. Did you want a lot of pages? Oh, great. So are you satisfied? Of course not, right? It's about what's in them. A lot of redactions. Okay. The law is pretty clear for a law that you're only allowed to redact things that fit into a few categories, okay? One of those categories is not that people are going to be embarrassed and that they may want to sue because you've made them notorious for an allegation that you could not substantiate. Okay, so what are they going crazy about? Online, exactly that. Did you see the letter that Epstein wrote to convicted pedophile Larry Nassar, mentioning our president? Huh? Did you see that? See it? It's all over, right? Oh, you have seen it. Oh, great. Does everybody who show it to you say that the DOJ says the letter is fake? Talk about what they should have redacted. If it's fake, and you know it's fake, why would you release it? You see like how crazy are we? How crazy are we? So you know this is fake, and you're releasing it into a Thunderdome where people weaponize information for profit. Like, how is it making anything better? If you get us the names of people who knew or may have benefited from Epstein's disgusting behavior. After his arrest in 2019, the FBI was trying to contact what they call 10 co-conspirators. Now, the DOJ reacted the names of those alleged co-conspirators. Why? Good question. We don't know. Shortly after Epstein died, prosecutors wrote a memo. Potential charges of Epstein co-conspirators. Again, the names are blacked out. Why release if you don't give us the names? Well, we never made cases against those guys. It's not what the law says. The law doesn't say you can redact what you decided you couldn't corroborate. It's not what the law says. So where does it leave us? Trump's former attorney and former prosecutor of nearly 30 years is named Jim Trusty. I wanted him tonight, and my brother and mentor, NewsNation correspondent-at-large, Geraldo Rivera. It's good to have you both. I wish you both the best for the holy days, for Christmas, clear eyes, full hearts for the new year. Jim.
You too.
The law says you can't redact it because they're somebody's and you might embarrass them and they might even have a good lawsuit for defamation against you for releasing it. You still have to release it. They didn't. Why?
Yeah, well, because maybe they're stuck in the same mode I am. I mean, I hate this whole exercise, and I think you touched on it a little bit in your intro, which is we don't usually go through prosecutors' files. No matter how interested everybody is, no matter how much lip service they give to caring about the victims, this is primarily a political exercise where we're doing something that's just wrong. I got to tell you, prosecutors' files are fluid. They are incomplete by nature. They are rife with moments where victims wouldn't want things disclosed, potential targets wouldn't want things disclosed, witnesses, even law enforcement techniques all get exposed. And I have to start by just saying, Chris, I hate this new regime where we've gone, probably spoiled from special counsel appointments, frankly, where they have an obligation under the law to do a report. Now we're letting everyone and their mother's sister and brother open up files and draw conclusions, looking at things that might be palpably fake and taking them as real, looking at accusations saying, why don't we have more? And so, yeah, ultimately it's fair game to say they redacted too much, the thing looks like an oil slick, and they're going to have to dial some of that back, and maybe they will voluntarily, as opposed to endlessly putting Epstein in the news by being in court over these redactions. But I got to tell you, my starting point is kind of sympathy with the idea of redaction, because the whole exercise, I think, is largely warped and largely not helpful for victims.
Now, you know, Geraldo, if I'm arguing this point, in any kind of legitimate forum, I'll take Jim's side. Not in a court of public opinion. Nobody feels bad for whoever's name has a black stripe over it because we are in hate the rich mode. And people want transparency. And the DOJ seems to have flouted the law and kept transparency out. Do you think they should reveal the names?
Insinuation is not transparency, said Bill Clinton, who was lavishly, promiscuously featured in the first document dumped. He wants everything released right now. Why? Because the way it's been released is highly partisan. I mean, Clinton got bashed, his pictures everywhere in that first dump. Where is Trump? Now Trump begins to appear, but still, like in this picture, here you have a face blacked out. Turns out the face has nothing to do with a teenager, and there's the former president relaxing in the hot tub. And in fact, it is so salacious, the whole notion of it, that your mind turns off, and the transparency. Oh, look, it's not a kid, it's a grown-up, or why did you block it out then? I think that the way the redactions have been done is highly partisan. I think this whole exercise so far has amounted to a great big zero. You have a situation where it's been Epstein, Epstein, Epstein. What do we know? 10 co-conspirators, they said, back in the 1990s, and their names haven't surfaced yet. Nobody knows who they are or what they purportedly did. I think that it is impossible to have hung out with Jeffrey Epstein and not gotten the vibe from his mansions and ranch and island and that this was a guy with an unhealthy fixation on teenagers. His artwork.
So here's the pushback.
Massages.
Here's the pushback.
Everywhere.
Let's say I agree. It's not a legally actionally basis that you should have known he's a scumbag. You are the company you keep. You should have known. Okay, maybe not. A lot of this work was done after he died, too. 2019, 2022. So it's not all 2 generations removed. Jim, the law is very clear. And you do have the names, and there are people who are survivors, victims, whatever nomenclature you like, who say they did things to them, or they knew what Epstein, did to them. Those are supposedly these 10 people. Do you think if those names come out, people will be satisfied?
Oh, I'll take the safe bet. Nobody's ever going to be satisfied. There is absolutely no chance. I mean, remember, prosecutors' files, as I said, can be fluid. They can be incomplete. There are things that a prosecutor knows in their head about their investigation.
Right, but under the law,
Jim, down to a piece of paper.
Under the law, Jim, these names that are redacted on the screen right now, none of them check the box of what you don't have to redact. There's no open case. These aren't victims or survivors that we're talking about. They were supposed to expose these things, good or bad. They're supposed to do it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, I may disagree with the law, but the law is the law.
Right, the law is the law. Geraldo, am I wrong?
Sorry. I may be proven wrong about this, but I submit that the 10 Epstein co-conspirators, if they were really co-conspirators and that they were involved in this awful, disgusting abuse and exploitation of children, you would have seen their references a lot more prominently than 10 co-conspirators. Twice, as far as I know, it mentioned, just in that language, 10 co-conspirators. How do you know what it is? Like it's some FBI agent, hey, what about those 10 co-conspirators?
I agree. And people around the process tell me, be careful, because a lot of them were the named parties in these settlements that happened early on with financial institutions that wound up settling for their involvement with Epstein and what may have helped with his trafficking. All right, I got to leave it there. But I want to thank you both, and I want to wish you the best. Again, clear eyes and full hearts for the new year. Let's see what comes out. We'll see what makes sense, and I'm happy to do it with you both. God bless.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Chris.
You too. Merry Christmas,
Merry,
guys.
happy. Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.